Alright guys, this is One of a Kind Player, and this is another video for you guys, and the game we are going over is Varsity Football. And this is another game that'll be on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, coming this fall or winter time. So we're definitely getting a variety. So um, we don't have a trailer quite out yet, but we're gonna go over some of the developmental updates that they've been posting on their Twitter and Instagram. So I'll be linking their LinkTree in the description of this video so you guys can check them out and follow them if you guys are on those social platforms. Lifelike motion on the field, blending between high quality motion capture, animation, and ball trajectory logic to allow wide receivers to adjust to balls thrown above, beyond, and below them naturally. This is a great aspect to have, especially in football games. Some of the old Maximum games that were before this developer, you would see a receiver float to a ball that was 10 yards in front of them when they were nowhere even close to it. And so this realistic play is definitely going to be something that makes the game look more natural and more authentic. So that's nice to see. Dynasty Summer Off Season. We've progressed into bulking out the summer offseason that includes a breakdown of new incoming players that have enrolled in your school, winter/spring training results, setting your starters, organizing the depth chart, and an opportunity to use new booster funds to upgrade your stadium. Whoa, now that's pretty impressive. So it looks like we're going to be having that aspect of, new players coming in, whether they move from a different state or different city. That's pretty common to get some, new kids at your school. And as well as, during the off seasons to figure out what you want to do with your field, whether you're maybe changing it from turf to grass or upgrading the stadiums to hold more fans if your program was more successful. So it looks like we're getting a little bit more customization from them as well. The February 2023 update. Player jerseys. We have completed the 3D modeling and texturing for player jerseys. This includes options for base jerseys, jerseys with a t-shirt underneath, and a jersey with a QB protector underneath. These jerseys will be fully customizable with colors, logos, fonts, and patterns to match common styles seen in high school football. So they're kind of giving us the different aspects of customization, seeing that we're going to be able to have the QB rib cage protector under, or maybe even just a baggy shirt under your player model, and have those tees hanging out like how some players do. So that's pretty cool that they're adding that aspect. And you're seeing that level of customization coming from these different games like Varsity High School Football, as well as Maximum, that has a bunch of customization. But that'll be in its own different video. So we got some exciting games coming out this fall and winter. The replay system. We began work on our replay system. This will power both the player-driven replay system found in the pause menu, as well as the automated replay system that will trigger after big plays. Now that's just essential to football gaming if you ask me. It's 3rd and 15 and you break a big play for a touchdown, 89-yard pass to receiver. If you're throwing it that far, I don't know. But 89 pass yard to receiver and they break open, make some guys miss. It instantly kicks in that replay, while you're amped up playing against your buddies. That's the type of memories we're going for. So it's awesome to see that in. Also a February update, in-depth training. Coaches now have the ability to set training budgets for the team in the offseason between weight room, speed and agility, conditioning, film study, and positional focus areas like QB room. Each can increase the player ratings and is directly influenced by the individual potential personalities and the coach's focus. For example, the offensive coordinator may have a running back focus, while the offense will benefit from training programs. The running backs on the team will see an added boost. This adds to the importance of hiring the right staff for your vision of the team. Some players may have higher potential or none at all, and that all influences the speed in which they improve. Okay, so making smart choices is definitely going to be a big aspect. I know in the old NCAA football games, you had to really choose when you got the experience points. If you were in Road to Glory or most likely Dynasty, and if you're putting where you wanted to put your points for your defensive coordinator, if you wanted them to focus on the back coverage, or if they wanted to work on the line, your lineman's explosion through the gap to get to the QB, allocate those points the way you want to. So that's what we're seeing here. And so it looks like a lot of it is going to be decision based on your outcomes and how well your team does in this game, which is pretty cool. So that is our February update so far. They added a new developer, the Bleeding Red 21. He has joined the Varsity team as a full-time developer and has been assisting in our Dynasty and UI UX development. I'm assuming he's from Twitter. The Bleeding Red is known for his work on the college revamp mod. Whoa, that's a big key right there. Because if any of you guys have played the NCAA 14 revamped, those guys that did the mods for the different ESPN style scoreboards that you see at the bottom, or the different jerseys and different helmet customizations between the UI and the physical player jersey development. Those guys were the guys from Revamp. So that's a key player right there. So I'm pretty excited to see that. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table and what else that they're going to release later on for us to know before the game drops in the fall or winter. The depth chart. Players can now set positional depth charts using any available players. Small rural teams in the Midwest may only have 20 players on their roster or no true QB. So it will be important to slot players in that can give you a chance to win. Maybe your starting middle linebacker has the most accurate arm but can only throw short routes. But you have a DB that's lightning fast. Do you start the middle linebacker or DB at QB? And what style of football will you play? The choice is yours. So again, we're seeing that decision-making aspect. Facilities. Schools now manage the maintenance of their field, lights, press box, scoreboards, and stands/bleachers. The quality of these items will not only impact attendance and revenue generated from the games, but also the likelihood of injuries of a poorly kept field. Players may also upgrade items to increase the game day experience for fans with more seating, better lighting, nicer scoreboards, etc. That's pretty big. This game just got a lot of customization, so I know I'm saying this is pretty big, but they are really making the game to be individualized for each and every player that decides to get their hand on this game. So, especially with, how well your team does and how much money they bring in for the off season, you can allocate it to your bleachers, your field, your lights, your press box, and your scoreboards. That'd be so cool to start like a small school that had little funding, get their program to be top notch, and then start developing the stands, getting a bigger stadium, getting a bigger school, getting more kids come in on the off season because they want to play there. So, that brings the realism, because we see that nowadays. A school down the road, 20 minutes down the road, is a really good school. So you got athletes now that are asking their parents to go there. And so, you don't see it all the time in public schools, but it does happen. Gameplay. Player details like individual speed, height, and weight now dynamically adjust catching behavior animations. Short players may need to reach up to catch where taller players can catch the same pass in their chest, for example. New plays have been added. That's the physics that we're seeing, the realism that we're getting from them. And honestly, you're just seeing their thought process and how much they are really thinking about this game. So that's pretty cool. Here's the April update, 3D modeling. We've modified customizable bowl helmets featuring different options for matte, metallic colors, and various logo placements. You can also customize your face mask, chin strap, and visor colors. Progress of helmet assets. Okay, so we're gonna have the option between matte, metallic. You'll be able to change the color of your visors, and then also your logo size on the helmet. And that's pretty standard, especially with nowadays with different visor colors. It's pretty realistic. It's nice to see that they're adding that to a high school game, because I don't even think in my high school that you could have any color other than a clear 20%. But let me know if in your state if the rules were different and different. So definitely let me know and how you guys feel about that. That level of customization is definitely thought out. As well as logo placements. I wonder if it'll be like within the game, or will it be an online uploader like how NCAA 14 was? April gameplay. Players can now scramble with their QB. Triggering a scramble dynamically switches between pocket movement and running animations. Varsity now includes formation and package player locations, visualization in the UI during play calling, as well as some new formation and plays. Plays can be run out of various formations and packages, allowing dynamic play calling. Alright, so it seems like before maybe it was just a QB had to be a pocket and you couldn't trigger a scramble. I know, like, if you hold the right trigger button, maybe in the old games, the QB would tuck and run without you having to make it a QB run play. So that's a pretty cool aspect. Dynasty. We've been hard at work continually refining the Dynasty offseason, experiencing improving flow, making new data available to players when choosing their job, like seeing local and state popularity or the facility maintenance quality, along the adding, filtering, and sorting to the depth chart management system. Okay, so Dynasty's a big part, in these games, whether it's NCAA or whether it's Madden. Every year you hear Dynasty, Dynasty, Dynasty. What are we adding to Dynasty? How are we making it more developed, and how are we expanding on it? And it seems like they definitely have Dynasty in mind as well when it comes to your school popularity and, just building the different culture for your schools. You may have schools with different cultures between having a small school and a bigger school, a winning school and a losing school. So that's pretty cool. All right, so here's a picture of one of their early extended gloves concepts that they have. Pretty cool. Pretty basic glove, but you know what? You kind of see what they're working with. Also, here's another aspect of the different types of field goals, like they were talking earlier with the field customization. Here we got the pylons and the crank, or the crane, so you may have someone filming up there. Basic concepts were pretty cool. All right, May development update. Position training. All players in high school football are athletes without predefined positions. Some let their ego get in their way and want to be a star receiver, but they have terrible hands. As a coach, you can put each player through position-specific training camps to increase specific ratings. Maybe your backup QB would be a better middle linebacker. Put him in a linebacker camp in the spring and see if he takes to it and make positional changes going into the new season. Different players have different potential and can potentially hit their ceiling quickly and even have different ratings for each position. This is your opportunity to prove you can make it as a coach and build a team around your vision. So awesome. You'll be able to put some of your players in different positions, test them out where you want them. Pretty common in varsity football, if you have a really good middle linebacker, they might play fullback as well. So who knows, maybe we'll get more two-sided play in this game. So pretty cool. I know in NCAA, they'd only be able to start at one position because, in college, typically you don't play both sides. But in this game, it's high school, and it's common for star players to play both sides. Gameplay. You can now lead your team into practice/scrimmage during the off-season to help you get to feel for each player's abilities. We've begun refining the camera system for visualizing your play art on the field. Getting some more camera angles. Maybe we'll get like right behind the QB. Maybe we'll get like the spring practice angle, from the coach's view. On field, hovering over in the ear in the huddle. So we'll just have to see when the game comes out. A May update. Zenith. We have officially partnered with Zenith to include their helmets in Varsity. That's awesome. That's a big brand for helmets right there. And I feel like they've really only been on the come up the last 10 years. They're the sponsored helmets of the Under Armour All-American game as well. So that's a pretty cool aspect to see. Player customization. We have begun building a dedicated player customization menu that will allow you to see the difference in not only the player's height and weight, but also their muscle tone. You will be able to see the size difference in many ways with incoming freshmen and seniors. We don't simply scale up the players' models. Each player is truly different, right down for their facial features. That's awesome. So, of course, again, your freshman receiver that's skinny, built for speed, may not be as big as your senior linebacker. And we're going to see those differences with muscle tone. And so it's great to see that they're putting this type of detail in the game. Here's the June update. Player sports update. At the start of each stage of the season, winter, spring, summer, and fall, you receive updates on the players' availability for training and games. We now only show proper sports for the time of the year in combination with the sports the school offers. For example, hockey and basketball take place in the winter while track and field take place in the spring. So, that's a different aspect that you're going to see, and it's realistic too because, we've had some receivers in high school that were also basketball players. So they weren't in the weight room as much during the winter time because they were practicing for basketball and getting ready for their games. So they couldn't make the winter trainings, but they were there in the spring after their season ended. So they're bringing that level of realism to the game, which is pretty cool. Gameplay updates. We've begun combining on the field gameplay development with our Dynasty mode. At any stage of the offseason, you can jump on the field to test out different players in different positions before you decide where to train them or slot them in the depth chart. Pretty standard, you're going to definitely test out where you like your players and where their strengths are, If they're a better middle linebacker like earlier than they are QB, maybe that's where they're going to be starting this year. June update. New Texas-style high schools. We now have a large Texas-style high school field that's representative of the larger programs that could seat hundreds of fans under the lights on a Friday night. So, okay, now that's what I like. So we're going to get a lot of those bigger stadiums for those bigger high schools. We're not just going to have smaller stadiums. And let's think about like Allen High School that's got a crazy stadium for high school. And I think one of the biggest stadiums in Texas and in the nation. And so we're going to get that opportunity to make possibly a powerhouse high school have that big of a stadium as well. Equipment customization. Arm braces, knee braces, and quarterback playback wristband have been modded out and added to the game. We've also begun to set up our jerseys and pants to allow for maximum customization options, not just in color, but also the stripe styles, shoulder layout, and stitching styles available. This will be robust. Nice. So we're definitely we're going to be getting those accessories that people put on to make their players look, in a way, swaggier, as some people would say. I had left a message on their Instagram asking will this game have mouthpieces? Because it's a forgotten piece in football games for whatever reason. Madden just added those back to their games like 2 or 3 years ago, which is insane. It's a football game. Of course you're not always going to see the covered ones, but the pacifier ones, that'd be a pretty cool aspect to have. And they said yes, they will be adding those. You know, when I contacted the Instagram, they said yes, they will be adding those. So I'll be looking forward to seeing those as well, since they're taking so much care into customizations. Another aspect for June that they've updated was Dynasty mode again. Roster screens now include a player detail row design featuring their name, headshot, overall rating, height, weight, and their emotional state, happy, frustrated, etc. During the off-season, we include other sports they are playing and if they are available for training. Again, that's kind of like what we were talking about. If they're playing a different winter sport, they won't be available for training. If they're playing another sport, they are not available for training, like I said. Boosters now have a small, medium, and large designation to allow difference in available money they may donate. Someone like a small restaurant may only give $100, while a large apparel brand may give closer to $5,000. The amount available is also dependent on the size of your community and program. User experience. User experience / menu quality of life. We've gone through our Dynasty screens to ensure all roster and data tables have consistent sort features for columns and sticky columns, so the player's name and positions are always visible as you scroll through ratings or stats. Depth charts and training programs now have the ability to autofill. That's a pretty good feature because you're editing the roster, and the game before number 28 was not a good running back, or they didn't meet your needs. So you need to go to roster and find number 28. You're not searching too hard because the number is popping up near their name. So that's a good feature to have. That right there concludes all the features for Varsity High School Football. So let me know what you think about this game. Are you going to check it out? I definitely will. There's no word of it yet if it's free to play or whatnot, but no matter the cost, I'm definitely going to put in some, money and check it out. And, even if you don't want to get it right at drop, maybe you'll wait a while, see some videos, and if you like it, check it out. But I'm always up for a football game, so I'll be checking it out. Thank you guys again for watching. One of a kind player. Check the description. I'll be tagging Varsity High School Football's LinkTree so you guys can check out their Instagram, Twitter, their Discord if you're wanting to join or ask them questions. Yeah, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoy the content.